Was this a game where maybe Bayern said, like, we need to win by 2 goals? Let's maybe be a little bit more patient. Let's think set piece. Let's think, there's no Marquinhos at the back. Let's think something like that. And maybe instead of pressing them so high, maybe let's press them once they get to the midfield so that we don't leave our defensive line exposed like that.
But the defensive line doesn't matter what. If you see all the chances, most of the chances came with balls played in behind, and the recovery runs of the Bayern players wasn't particularly good. How many times did you see Mbappe running free, Neymar running free, other players running free?
No, I know, but it's easier to catch Mbappe over 10 meters than it is to catch him over 30 meters, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I'm just throwing this out there, second guessing.
But Bayern are always going to play a high line.
No, but I'm saying, Jules, Jules, what's your take on this? Did Flick afterwards sit there and say, but what if I had just sat a little bit? What if we had changed for this game? What if I'd given Pochettino a different look where it would have been harder for them to counterattack us? Or is that just kind of pointless second guessing?
I thought Flick missed a trick, and there's no play on words there on the first leg though, because second leg you 3-1 down. I think you really have to go for it. If you're patient and the tempo of the game slows down, because that would have played in PSG's hands, I don't think that would have been good for Bayern at all. I thought it was in the first leg, where maybe they should have been a bit more patient. Maybe they should have said, okay, you know what, you can have a bit of the ball more than us, and then we see. But instead, they conceded so early that then they felt, okay, let's go for it. But that first goal in the first leg was crazy goal. They were all over the place defensively. Their back line was just all over the place. And then you concede that goal with a Neuer's mistake, and then you're suddenly against it. And then you're chasing the game. PSG have never been out in this tie, which I find incredible. They've never been behind. They've never been out. From the 3rd minute on, the first leg, they've been always qualified. They've always been through. And I just thought, if you're Bayern and maybe you were thinking about having a different take on this game or tactics to this game, that messed you up. But certainly I thought in that first leg, second leg, they have to go for it anyway with the players that they had left. But the first leg, maybe that's where they missed a trick.
All right, let's turn to Bayern for a second. There's an excellent column up on the website.
By yourself?
By me, funnily enough.
Of course. Brilliant article, obviously.
Great read.
And look, this column could have been written regardless of whether Bayern had advanced or not. And the point is that there's major surgery to be done here. Bild and other outlets are already reporting that Hansi Flick is going to leave to take over the Germany job. Go back to the German FA to replace Jogi Löw after the Euros. They attribute some of it to tension internally with Hasan Salihamidzic, the sporting director. Some of that is to do with, obviously, the squad building. Remember, they brought in all those players at the very end of the transfer window in September when he's like, guys, I need more live bodies, issues with Boateng's contract. Here's the thing. And, of course, they've initially been linked with Julian Nagelsmann because that's what happens in Germany. Bayern get linked with, the smartest guy out there. But here's the thing. If you're a new coach and you're going to move to Bayern, one of your questions is going to be, all right, what will the recruitment look like? Because, by September of next year, Lewandowski's going to be 33. Muller's going to be 32. Neuer's going to be 35. Alaba is leaving. Boateng is leaving. You have all these guys who, Tolisso and whatever, who are always injured. You're going to need to add bodies. Now, Dayot Upamecano is coming in, which is going to help, but you still need to have a plan for the next 2 years. You're going to have to somehow replace these people. So it comes down to how much faith you have in these players. I want to get Jules first and then you, Robbo. You look at Bayern's top 10 most expensive signings in history, and either because they got injured or because they were just bad, I don't think any of them, other than possibly Vidal and Hummels, even though Hummels neither lasted more than 3 years, I don't think any of them were good. Should you have faith? Because where Bayern have been successful is with homegrown players or guys that they buy for not much money as youngsters, like Kimmich and Alphonso Davies and guys like that, Alaba, right?
Lucas Hernandez cost them a lot of money, and I thought he was terrific in that second leg against PSG, against Kylian Mbappe.
That's fine. He's also been injured most of the time that he was here. He's been injured most of his career, in fact.
Okay, but Alaba is leaving. Move Lucas Hernandez central with Upamecano. Pavard right back if you want. Let's hope that Alphonso Davies are left back, because this is not Alphonso who's playing. That must be his twin brother, because I don't know where the Alphonso has gone, but this is not the Alphonso that we saw last season in the second half of the season. But I think Lucas Hernandez has potential to be a really, really good player for a really, really good player for
He's
Bayern
25
Munich.
years old, Jules. Like at some point, you move beyond. But I'm just talking about buying things at the right price and having these people stay fit and productive for you. Whether it's bad luck or whatever, it just hasn't happened for Bayern.
No, but you're right. I don't think Salihamidzic is a very good sporting director anyway. And there's certainly a lot of players that we could look at that they bought in the last 5 years who were not either the right fit for Bayern or ended up not being good enough for that team anyway. But not everybody can play for Bayern. Once again, we go back to mentality and personality and talent, etc. Not everybody is good enough for Bayern. But is it surprising, Gab, when you've got such almost like a civil war within the club? And I'm surprised that they had so much success, to be fair, in the last 10 years, considering how much Rummenigge and Uli Hoeneß hate each other and are still both running this club where they've been tensions forever, and yet they still manage somehow to be so successful. And yet, what happens this season, for me, is not a surprise. Same with the problems with recruitment. Same with the problems with, with the FC Hollywood and everything we've seen at the club, because it starts right at the top between Rummenigge and Hoeneß. And if you're Nagelsmann and Rummenigge or Hoeneß says, hey, come over, we have the biggest clubs, with this, with that. Surely you think twice, because it's going in a club that even if at some point Oliver Kahn is going to take over and maybe things are going to be a bit smoother and not as tense, but that with Bayern this always happens anyway. So I think well done for the success, but I thought that was always going to come anyway.
Robert, the new manager is going to be their 5th manager in 4 years.
Yep. Yeah, it's going to be,
and they've won plenty of trophies in that period.
Yeah,
but
last year they were the best team in Europe by quite a way, and probably at the start of this season they were.
But they could have been the best team in Europe this year too. They could have easily won. I mean, we said before that they could have won this tie. They could win the Champions League. They're 5 points clear domestically. They'll probably win the Bundesliga as well. But I'm wondering, the last couple of years, is their success simply down to superhuman performances from Muller, Lewandowski, Neuer, one or two others? And the fact that, there is this legacy of what Pep Guardiola brought in those 3 years. When, Flick came back, he said, no, let's go back to pressing high and whatever, and let's do it this way, the way Pep taught us, and it was fine.
There's lots of good things that have gone on. I still think there'll be a very good side next year under a new manager with lots of decent players as well. The thing that's lost them in the European or the Champions League this year is because, and I saw it right from the start of the season, they played even higher this season. And they had players that didn't seem to understand it or weren't comfortable with it. Sula wasn't comfortable with playing a high line. The other defenders...
But he enjoyed playing right back too. Yeah, but he had no choice.
And that's been their main problem. They've still played some great offensive football. They still look a really good side. But if you play a high line when there's no pressure on the ball and you stick to it religiously, you're going to have problems every so often. And that's what they've done. They've won most of their games, but every so often against a side like PSG, who have got good attacking players who can open them up, they've caused them a problem. And that's why they haven't won the Champions League this year.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.